I'm in Paris now. Here I am outside the Church of Saint-Sulpice. Paris is really famous for the number of beautiful churches that they have, and we're going to be going around looking at some of them.
Here in Saint-Sulpice, we can see some of the features that are typically found in French churches. For instance, the very large candles on the altar, and then the pulpit on the side of the church where the priest can stand and preach from and be heard without any microphone. And then in the back of the church, a very powerful and large organ. French churches, in comparison to the Roman churches that were in the last video, tend to be narrower, although still very, very tall, and very intricate. The pillars are a significant part of the architecture, and stained glass windows are most of what makes these French churches so beautiful, although unfortunately it's almost impossible to capture stained glass windows on video, and even when the video can show some of the colors, it doesn't really convey the entire experience of standing there in front of them. I thought this window was particularly interesting because it showed a more modern style of art. The most famous church in Paris is Our Lady of Paris, which in French is said Notre Dame de Paris. It is an extremely large, beautiful church. As you can see here, just the doorway, the intricate sculpture, the care that was taken with all of these little sculptures that people may not even ever look at. And here we've entered into the church, and you can see that this is another example of the extreme height and extreme length, and yet very narrow architecture of the French churches. As I said, those are very powerful and loud French organs. Here we're looking at the stained glass windows at the Church of Notre Dame, and we will look at each of the four sides of the church. These round windows are called rose windows, and they are the specialty of these French stained glass windows. They are so beautiful, very, very intricate, with all sorts of different colors capturing every aspect of the light. This last piece of Paris in the video is the remains of a church that was destroyed in the French Revolution, and yet this tower is still here in this park and very impressive. We are now 2 hours outside of Paris in the town of Chartres, where the most beautiful church is called Our Lady of Chartres, known as Notre Dame de Chartres. This church is considered by many to be the most beautiful church in all of the world. Here we can see the tile for the Santiago de Compostela journey, which is a walk all the way from Paris to the Atlantic coast of Spain. As you could see, there's some scaffolding up in this church. They're doing some restoration of the stonework. The stained glass windows are amazing, and I've chosen a few in the darker corners of the church that, because the sunlight isn't shining through quite so brightly, come across on the video a little bit better. But in person, they are all absolutely amazing. And here we have what's really a treasure of the church. The veil of the Blessed Virgin Mary is kept here in the cathedral. I am now in Ars, in the south of France. When St. John Vianney got to the countryside outside of Ars, he saw a little boy and he asked him, "Which way is it to Ars?" And the boy pointed it out, and then St. John Vianney said, "You have shown me the way to Ars. I will show you the way to heaven." Hello. When St. John Vianney died, he was already so famous as the pastor of this small town of Ars that they preserved his house exactly the way he'd left it, because they knew there would be many, many people coming to see it. Here we can see the kitchen of St. John Vianney. It's very simple, but he evidently used to serve very nice meals in here to people, but would never eat himself so well. And at the top of the stairs here, we can see a painting that St. John Vianney liked so much that he put it here where he would see it every single day on his way up to his bedroom. It's a painting of the Annunciation, where the angel Gabriel tells Mary that she is going to be the mother of Jesus. Here you can see the bedroom of St. John Vianney, just as he left it. This is the room he died in. His bed is, I think, very interesting with that yellow canopy on top, and there's his hat still on the chair. And there are his books. And now as we turn around, we're going to his living room, which they have turned into a small museum of some of the things. And first of all, you can see this painting of St. John Vianney and see what he looked like. This is a black cassock that he wore every single day, and he would never let anyone buy him a new one, no matter how tattered it got. And here are some of his things: his umbrella, his book, his prayer book, and there's another hat of his. And here we can see, coming up, a cape that the bishop gave him as an honor of what a wonderful priest he was, but St. John Vianney wouldn't wear it because he considered it too fancy. He hated to wear it. But when it came to Mass, he didn't think anything was too fancy. And here are some chasubles that he had specially made and paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's money for. After John Vianney was declared a saint, they built a basilica in Ars, but because he was the pastor of the parish, they didn't want to destroy the church, and so they attached the basilica to the church. So when you first walk in, it is the church, and you can see his pulpit there that he used to preach from, and then it leads right into the basilica. And here we can see the confessional of St. John Vianney, where he heard women's confessions. Here's a statue of Mary that he had put into the parish. And here is the sacristy, where he got ready for Mass and heard men's confessions. St. John Vianney died about 150 years ago. To the side here, the most precious possession of the basilica, which is the body of St. John Vianney. The body of St. John Vianney is incorrupt, which is a certain miracle where the body does not decay in any way. It looks as if he has just died, even though this body was buried for many years. There's a mask over the face, but at the hands you can actually see the skin of John Vianney. And as a sign of how much he loved the people of Ars, they have placed his heart in a separate chapel here.